Hello, 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 everybody. Hi. Welcome to Eve's Creations Paint Party. That's me. I'm Eve, and this is our third in a How to Tuesday series. So tonight is going to be water. Water. So, everybody log on, say hello. I'm going to show you everything I know about painting water. And we'll see how it goes. So we're not doing an actual painting tonight. It's just a practice session. I hope that everybody hears or sees something that helps them out in their paintings and helps them to be able to create. So I just want to say hello, everybody. And I'm going to wait for more people to log on for our How to Tuesday. Oh yeah, water in the house. You can tell my family's from up north because I don't use the ER. Water. To me, it's water. That's because my family's from North Jersey, so we always tend to drop those E's and R's at the end of our words. But anyway, you guys get the point. So log on, say hello, and I'll get started with my practice instructions for you guys. And I hope it all helps. Again, my name is Eve. This is Eve's Creations Paint Party. It is free to watch. Gratuities and tips are appreciated. So this way I'll still be able to do these for you. So every video is free. Every replay is free. If I can learn how to talk, this would be much easier. And I'm just so happy all of you are here tonight and I could get started. Okay, so I am going to post the link for the gratuities, and anybody who has tipped me before and has helped support me, I really appreciate it. Thank you so much for all of your support. Hi Terry. Hello sweetheart. Hi from Toronto. International baby. How you doing, love? How you doing? I hope everybody is well tonight. So this is your session. This is your practice session. So our subject tonight is water. So if we can stay on topic, that would be great. And I will answer any questions you may have. So if you have any questions during this video, feel free to comment them and I will answer you the best that I can. Hi Maura. Hello sweetheart. Hello. How you doing? So yeah, I think that was enough of my spiel. Tennessee in the house, right? So you guys probably say water completely different. Everybody, if you want to know where everybody's from, just ask them to say the word water. To me, it's water. All right, so I'm going to put you in my handy dandy holder here so you guys can see my canvas. And, oh, wait, we never said hi to the Mr. Butters. Let's say hi to Mr. Butters because he might be chiming in. So we need to give him props. All right, so let's say hi to the Mr. Butters first, and then we'll get started. Say hi, Butters. Say hi. Say hi to your fans. So that's my little man. That is my little man. There he is. Hi, Nancy. How you doing, sweetie? Hi, Alana. Yes, Alana, the replays are always available on my page. Just click the video link and you'll get a whole list of all my videos. Hey, Nancy. Good to see you, sweetheart. I hope you are doing well. Hello. Hello. So, all right, now that we said hi to the Mr. Butters, now I'm going to put you in my holder. All right, so I got just a plain canvas here, and I'm gonna throw some stuff on it. Let's see if I can position this holder so you can see the canvas. There we go. There it is. And like I said, we're not doing an actual painting tonight. I am just going to show you everything I know about water. Shed some more light on the subject there. All right, so real quick, I am just going to throw in a little bit of a background for you. It's the same paints I use for every party. Thanks, Nancy. Thanks for helping me answer that question. You guys are amazing. Amazing. Always, always, always amazing. So I am going to put the same colors I use for every party that I do on Fridays on my palette. So I like to keep it simple for everybody. And I'm going to be using blue, red, yellow, white, and black. Those are the same same paint I use for every single party. So real quick, I'm going to drop in a sky so I can show you guys all the different things to do with water. So I am just going to, first thing I'm going to show you is how to do rain, because rain is water, right? So I am just going to drop in a sky for myself here, maybe a pretty little sunset. Get that on my canvas real quick. So this is, I'm just using a 1-inch flat brush. I'm mixing yellow, red, and white together. And I'm just going to throw in a real quick sky for everything. I'm not going to finish it. I just want to show you a few things. All right, so there's my sky. And I'm going to take out my big fluffy brush. And I'm going to drop in a cloud. I'm going to drop in a cloud. So all I'm doing is mashing up my big fluffy brush that you guys know that I love. I'm grabbing white paint real fast. I did clouds. I don't know how to already. So I'm just going to drop in a cloud real fast just so I could show you rain. So let me just drop in this cloud. Right, so I already went over clouds with you guys. I know I did that. So we're going to drop in this, the paint is really, really wet. So let me just swoosh some bright white in there. All right, so this way we have our cloud for me to show you rain. Okay, one thing I want to let you know is if you want to do, say, a lake reflecting your sky. I have to wait for this to dry to show you the rain. So say you want to do a lake reflecting your sky. When you paint your sky in, hi, Amanda. Hi, sweetheart. Oh, it's so good to see you too. Awesome. So if you're going to do a reflection, a lake, right? And there's your sky. What you want to do is you're going to drop in the same colors as your sky on the bottom part of your canvas, right? So what do I have going on here? I have yellow, and you want to match it up like yellow, yellow, right? And then up higher is like an orangey color. So then I want to put in the orangey color. And then up higher is even the red, right? So if you're going to do, let's say you're dropping a lake in, right? You want to make sure that the colors on the bottom of your canvas are the same as the colors on the top of your canvas, right? So this way it's going to look like a reflection, and everything with water is straight across and then up and down, straight across and then up and down. Oh, Amanda, I'm so happy you stopped in to say hello. Hello, sweetheart. Hello. So now that I have that in there, what you want to do is you need a coastline, right? So let me grab, I made some brown paint. I mixed all my colors together to make, I told you Mr. Butters will be chiming in. I told you. So I mixed some brown paint. Right, so I am just going to throw in a little coastline here, just so you see something. Alright, so there's my little coastline. And then we're going to get closer and closer to me. Right, so I'm going to put this in. So brown you make by mixing red, yellow, a little bit of white, and either some blue or black. So if you need to make a brown, that's how you do it. Of course, you could always use just brown paint. All right, so I'm going to drop in a little coastline here, right? So there's my coastline. And when you're making a lake, hi, Melissa. Hello, hello, hello. Hello. Hi, Rachel. Hello, sweetheart. Hi, guys. Hi. I'm using my cheat sheet to write all your names down. So when you have a coastline like this, and see how this is already looking like a reflection because I put land around it, right? So I'm going to just take one of my smaller brushes, just one of the small tiny brushes, see, very tiny, and on your coastline, what you're going to do to make it look like water is you want some nice thin white paint. So if your white isn't thin enough, you could add a little bit of water to it and just mix it around. All right, so, and you want to make sure you have a nice point with your brush, okay? And you're very simply going to go to your coastline, and where the water meets the coast, you're just going to drop in. Again, you want to try to leave your markings so they're straight across. So I'm going to bring the camera closer for you so you can see. Hi April, how you doing? So, and when you do this, you kind of want to leave your markings so they're going straight across. But all along the coastline, you want to add white water lines. All right, so, and as I work my way closer, notice how I'm keeping them straight. I'm keeping them straight, right? So I'm working down the coast, but I'm keeping my water lines going straight across. Right? Like I said, everything to do with water is straight across. So, and then when you get to a point that's kind of sticking out like this, you can skip over that point and then add more in. Right? So you just want to add these water lines going down your coast. And like I said, you want everything going straight across. That's what you want to do. Right? And then we could cut in over here. Right? So we can cut in over here. And that way you can really see what I'm doing because it's against the brown. Not really sure how well you saw that before. But I'm doing this zigzag motion. If you notice, my brush is going like this. So we just zigzag zoom. We just zigzag zoom. And you frame in the whole coastline with these straight across zigzag zoom water lines. That's how you do that. Hi guys, hi everybody. So when you do that, and then in your water, right, in your water, see, it's very simple, right? So all I did was drop my sky below, and now I'm just putting in water lines. So again, thin white paint, small brush, and in my water, again, doing a zigzag zoom. I'm moving my hand back and forth like this, see? And you want to put water lines in your water. So, like I said, I am just zigzagging my brush, keeping everything straight across, okay? Using white paint, thin white paint. And you can add these water lines, and you could jump around. You could do like little lines like this and then move and then put another one in. You don't have to have it all connected. You don't have to have it all connected, but just here and there, put a little trace that something's going on. And just like that, you have a lake that is reflecting the sky, that is a body of water. Honestly, putting in these water lines is what makes it water. That's how simple that is, okay guys? So it's not much to think about. All I did was take my sky colors and I flipped the pattern, right? Because I went yellow, orange, red here, so then you want red, orange, yellow. Okay, I flipped the pattern and I put in a little coastline. I did zigzags across with water lines, and just like that, you have a lake. That's how easy peasy that was. Okay, you can also do those water lines with your palette knife. Okay, so this is a palette knife. I have a metal one. They have plastic ones. They sell all sorts of kinds, but this is a palette knife. If you're gonna invest in one, I recommend this shape first. They do make other shapes, but this shape seems to be the most advantageous. And you can do the same lines using a palette knife, right? So here's my white paint, and I'm going to pull the Bob Ross trick, right? I'm going to slice across, and get that little bead of paint on there. A little bead of paint. And you can do the same thing, going zigzagging across. And you can put your water lines in with the palette knife. Okay? Now this makes all little sorts of fun things happen. So here I can show you the difference. See, that makes all sorts of fun things happen. You have a little couple of dots skipping around. You have all sorts of things going on, like maybe there's fish swimming or the water's moving. So it's completely up to you how calm you want your water. Okay, so when you use the palette knife, just remember it's going to cause some more little details to happen in your water. I think it's kind of cool. Some people might like it, might not like it. And you do the same thing going across your coastline, right? So I got my little bead of paint on there. And you can do the same thing going across your coastline, all right? It is the same thing. I am just going across with my lines. Going across. So moving down the coast, but going across. And if you noticed, now it looks like my water is like really like moving, like it's and then you can just slice too. You could slice those in like that. So it really looks like it's moving around, right? Going into like a river type thing. All right. So now up top, I wanted to show you rain. All right. So I think my cloud is dry enough now to where I could show you rain. So with the palette knife, again, you could do rain with the palette knife. And you very light touch, extremely light touch. You're holding it at a bit of an angle. And you come right out of your cloud and you could just pull. Now this makes it look more like serious rain, and then you just cut the lines into it. So if you want some like serious rain going on, you use the palette knife, and it really looks like it's coming down. It really looks like it's coming down. I'm not really a fan. Speaking of fan, I was just going to grab my fan brush. So I am not really a fan of using the palette knife to make rain because it's it's not consistent enough for me. So speaking of fan, I'm going to use the fan brush. Okay, so the fan brush, all you want to do is put some white paint on the tip of a fan brush. Make sure you have a good fan brush. Right, spend the extra money, get yourself a good fan brush. I'm doing a little wiggle so it gets on all the bristles. Okay, and you go up to your cloud and you very simply pull straight down. It's straight. Everything with water is straight. Straight across, straight down. Everything. If you learn one thing today, water is straight across or straight down. That's it. Okay, so you sit very simply, put it onto your canvas, and you just move your arm, not the brush, and you can pull straight down. Straight down. And when you pull straight down, you get this really cool rain effect. Okay, so I don't know if you see. You guys see that? All right, so I'm just wiggling my brush, putting the paint just on the tip, and I'm pulling straight down. So, like I said, guys, this is your practice session. This is all for you. So if you have any questions, that's rain, all right? See, the palette knife, not so much. I'm not really a big fan because you can get big blotchy spots. So that's like for a downpour. That's for a nice summer rain, all right? So if you guys have any questions at all out there, let me know, and I will try to answer you to the best of my knowledge. All right, so the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to throw in a waterfall, right? So, like I said, I had that brown paint mixed up already because I was painting our awesome sloth. Our awesome sloth, right? So I'm just going to grab some brown paint, right? I'm going to smash it onto here. I'm going to do that little slice that Bob Ross likes to do. He's my man. He's who I grew up with. Right, so I'm going to do my little slice across, get my roll of paint. So next week on how to is mountains. So I'm going to drop this in here really fast. So, but you guys, next week, we're going to learn all about mountains. All right, so I am just using my palette knife to drop in some rocks so I can show you a waterfall. Alright, so I'm just going to drop in some rocks right now. Real quick like. Really, really quick like. Alright, tell me to stop playing because I'm getting anal with my rocks. I'm getting anal. Getting a little OCD about it is what I'm doing. But I'm just going to drop in a mountain real fast. Right, so next week we're going to learn all about mountains and rocks and how to draw all these things in using all your different types of brushes. Right, so we have ourselves a nice little mountain, which I have to let dry. So the trick is you have to let it dry. All right, and I'm going to drop in a rock or two into my water so I can show you how to do the rocks that are in your water, right? So I'm going to drop a rock. Now, drop a rock. There we go, just like that. Isn't that amazing? Isn't it amazing that we can just create our own little world and just have fun with it? So there's a rock in my lake, okay? So there's my rock. And what's really cool is when you want to do a reflection, it's the same colors, right, that you use to make your item, right? So again, I'm using the palette knife. I'll show you the other brushes too. So when you do a reflection, hi Amanda. Yeah, it is totally amazing we get to create our own worlds. So when you want to do a reflection, right, so I have this mountain here, and what you want to do when you're doing a reflection, you want to make sure you have a soft, dry brush. A nice, soft, dry brush. I got Big Boy here. Hey, Cheryl. That's okay. Nice to see you, sweetheart. Hey there, Amanda. How you doing, love? So you want to make sure you have a nice, soft, dry brush in the workings for when you do a reflection, all right? So this is Big Boy from my paint parties. This is what I call Big Boy. He's a 1-inch flat, and he's nice and soft and dry. Make sure you have one of those ready to go in your other hand. Hi, guys. Hello, everybody. Hey, fam. Hi, guys. How you doing? So when you do a reflection, you want to make sure that the size your item is the size you're putting down here, okay? So say I want to do a reflection of this piece of my mountain. And this was my coastline, remember? So I am going to put in, and you want to match, and I'm just dropping this in, you want to match the same things, but it's upside down. Now, I know, you could easily like take a second to dry because that paint's really, really thick. Hey, guys. Hey, fam. And to make it into a reflection, you have to soften it out. So you very simply take this brush, and again, I said straight down and across. So you're going to pull straight down. You're going to pull straight down. Right? Soften it out. You're going to pull straight down. Just like that. Right? And then you want to go across, which softens it even more. All right, so that's how you do a reflection. Straight down, you paint it in there, you pull it straight down, and then you run it across. All right, and then once you have that reflection in, you can very simply take that white paint from before, that thin white paint from before, and now you put your water lines in, right? So I'm going to put my water line on the coast. Again, zigzagging, remember? Just zigzagging my brush. Light, thin lines. Light, thin lines. That's all I'm doing. Very thin on my coastline there. All going across. And then you can do your thin lines on top of your reflection. And just like that, you did a reflection of your mountain. See? See how that works? That's how you do a reflection. All right, so you basically repaint the same thing you have above the water. And once you repaint it, you know, give it a second to dry because you don't want to be smushing your paint all around. So you repaint what you had above the water, and then you simply drop in. You take a nice soft brush and you go straight down, and then you take the same brush and go straight across. It softens it out, and just like that, boom, reflection. Nothing to overthink, guys. Nothing to overthink. Okay, nothing to overthink at all. All right, so this mountain is still pretty wet. So the rock, let's do the rock. Welcome to the rock. Wasn't that a wrestler? He was great, right? He lifted his one eyebrow up. He was like, I don't know how he did that. Wait, can I do it? Wait, I can do it like this. Can anybody do that facial expression? The rock. That guy was a nut, right? Dwayne Johnson, that was his name. Yeah, so anyway, the rock. All right, so I have my rock in here. And, you know, again, if I'm going to do a reflection, all right, let me show you painting it with an actual paintbrush. So I'm going to grab that 1-inch flat that I had before. Hey, guys. So I'm going to grab that 1-inch flat from before, right? Swirl, tap, dab, soft and wet and thin. And I'm going to grab... So again, you're doing the same shape, except upside down, right? So it's thin here, right? It's thin there. Then it goes higher here, right? So I want to make it higher there. And all I'm doing is, instead of having the paint be really, really thick, I wet my paint down. I wet that brown paint down. So this is another way you can do it. I wet it down. I made it really loose and kind of see-through. All right, so I wet it down, just a little bit of water, and I'm following the same shape here with the lightest touch, right? But if you notice, I'm going straight across. All right, so you can do a reflection this way too. And you want to follow the exact shape. See how this is high, so this is to this point, right? So this is a high point, so that goes to high. This is here, so this goes to here, right? This is high, so that goes up here, right? This is nice and low, all right? So you can do the same exact thing, just thinning out your paint. And you go across when you paint. Notice everything I'm doing is across. So you can go across, and then again, you want to take that soft, dry brush, and you're going to pull down. You're going to pull down, and you're going to wipe across. So that's another way to do a reflection. That makes a really soft, light reflection, okay? So you can thin out your paint and do it that way too if you want to, because maybe you're only seeing part of the reflection of the rock. All right, so again, the water line saves the day all the time. So if you mess anything up in your water, just put a water line around it. All right, so now we have our reflection to our rock. And very simply, again, with the zigzag, I'm going to put in the water line, okay? So I'm going out, but you want to stop this water line. You're not going to go all the way around the whole rock, right? Because this part's like out of the water. You just want to do the base. And then what you want to do is up by the edges of the rock, right here. Say this is where my edge is. You want to make sure that you're putting a water line coming out from that, because the water has to go around that rock, right? So you know there's going to be movement here. Movement, right? What am I, cow? Movement. And then you're going to do your water lines like coming around from that. She'll be coming around the mountain when she comes. All right, so notice how now it looks like the water went around the rock, right? So let me show you on the other side, okay? So I definitely put it on the edge, and then you come towards the front, and then you move it around to the front of the rock, okay? Because the water has to move around the rock. So that is how you do a rock in the water. All right, now say somebody kerplunks something in the water, right? If you're skipping a stone, maybe. All right, so you can do those water lines, and you see with the koi and the ponds, like people do those little green lily pads. All right, so let me drop one of those lily pads in real quick for you, right? So blue, yellow, and some white. I'll make some green. All right, so here's a lily pad, right? So let me just drop one of these in real quick. Let me drop a lily pad in real quick, right? There's a lily pad for you. Well, let me drop that in real fast. All right. And let me actually put one of those where there's water so I can show you what's going on. All right, I'm running out of water, people. Let me put some, let me just put some blue water in real fast so I can show you some other things. All right, so I'm going to grab blue, and I'm going to grab a little bit of white. And let me put some water in here. All right, so blue and white. Again, notice I'm going straight across. Straight across. Okay, straight across with my water. Straight across. Okay, so now we have some blue water in there. Blue, 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 blue. Some blue water. Blue water. Let's throw some of that in. And I'm going straight across. That's how you do it. That's how you do water, straight across. All right. Hey, hey, hey. Hello, everybody. Hi, guys. Thanks for joining me tonight. Okay, so we have that straight across. All right, so I'm going to let that dry a minute, and I'll show you like the lily pads and stuff like that in water. And let's go back to doing our waterfall. All right, so there's a few things you can use for your waterfall. Again, your palette knife, if you want to. Or your fan brush. You can use your fan brush. Fan brush does it really cool. Okay, or just a regular old paintbrush. We can use our 1-inch flat if we wanted to. And what you want to do with a waterfall is it's straight down. Everything is straight down. Okay, so I'm going to turn around, and I am going to use the fan brush, I think, for this to show you guys. All right, so I got my fan brush. Again, I have my white paint. I'm going to wiggle my brush in the white paint. All right, get it on all those pieces there. And I'm going to come up to where my rocks are. I'll hold the camera so you guys can see better, okay? So I'm going to come up to where my rocks are. And you simply just pull straight down. Just pull straight down. And you want to leave the dark pieces of the mountain showing through. Okay, you want to leave some of that in there because this is water going over a rock. And then on the top, I just smooth across the top. And then I'm going to pull straight down. Okay. And I happen to pick up some brown paint in that, but that's okay. My brown paint was still kind of wet right there. All right, so you pull straight down with that. And if you want to add a little blue, you can add a little blue. Give it a little more dimension if you want to add a little blue. All right, so I'm going to add a little blue water to that. Again, just wiggled my fan brush into some light blue. And I'm going to add a little blue water to that, just a little bit. So I'm going straight up and down with my fan brush being horizontal, if you noticed. And I'm just pushing this in. I'm just pushing it in and deciding to put some up a little higher than others, right? And then I'm just going to push along the bottom here. I'm going to push along the bottom here and just kind of fill that in with paint for myself. Okay, so I am just pushing. That's all I'm doing. I'm pushing with the fan brush. And when you push with the fan brush, and I have very little paint left on it, it's creating this soft little thing going on. And that will be the water hitting on the bottom of your waterfall. So I'm going to grab a little bit more paint. And this, you know, you can do this with a fluffy brush. You can do this with any brush you want. So you're just pushing in, and that's where the foam hits. All right, so now I'm going to add a couple more white stripes going down. I'm going to add a couple of more white stripes going down like this, right, to really create that blue as part of the waterfall. And I don't want to go over my fuzzies. Don't want to go over my fuzzies, that's for sure. So you can do this with any brush. You just want to make sure there's a little bit of paint on your brush. You want to make sure you're going straight up and down. All right? And you want to make sure you're still seeing part of that mountain behind your waterfall. Okay? And say a piece of that, say there's a rock in there and a piece of that waterfall's hitting a rock, right? And starting to splatter. So I'm going to turn around and I am going to take my tiny brush again. My tiny brush, see that? My tiny brush. And I'm going to grab that white paint. And say on the side here, say, hey, it hit a rock, right? So you can very easily, like, put a little, like a couple of splatter marks. See those? See those little splatter pieces? So, and those are just round little pieces. And you put that splattering outwards, like that. So, say it hit a rock somewhere on this mountain that we created in our world. And now it's splattering out. So, all that was white paint and doing a couple little arches this way. All right, do a couple little arches like that. And then you can go straight down from there. All right, so you can make this waterfall do all sorts of cool little things that you want it to do. And then on the splatter piece, what is very important is when water splatters, there's little dots that are created. So you want to make sure you add some little dots. See this? So I'm just going to add some little dots going off of the water. I call them splash dots. So you just want to add these little dots going off. And this way, it really looks like it's splashing. Did everybody catch that? Everybody's good? You saw that? All right. So you do these arching little strokes, doot, 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 like it hit something. You can pull straight down. And then whenever water splashes, you want to add little dots, okay? So, let me do a splash on my rock so you can see a splash again, okay? Alrighty, sounds good to me. Yeah, Eve, why don't you do a splash on your rock? Alright, I'll do a splash on the rock. You guys are being all so quiet out there. So, here's the splash on the rock, right? Swoop, 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 swoop. So, all I did was swoop some water up. That is all I did. Swoop, 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 like that. And then you just want to add some dots. You're just going to add some dots. And notice I'm not being really careful with those. I'm just mushing them in there. All right? So that is how you do a splash. You just swish, swish, swish with your brush. Very technical. Swish, swish, swish. And then you add some dots coming off. And that looks like water splashing. That's how you do that. Okay. So back to our waterfall. All right. So now I have this big fluffy mess here, right? I have the water coming down. I added some dark values. I got a little splash off point here. So we need to give him some fluff. All right, so there's his fluff right there. So now you have this fluffy part, right? So I'm actually going to take my, if I could find it in my cup, which I can't seem to find it in my cup, but I'm going to keep looking. No worries, guys. I will find it. I'm going to take my brush that I like to call Mini-Me, right? So he's this tiny flat brush. He is very tiny, but he has a nice flat edge on him. You guys see that? See? So he's very small, but he has a flat edge on him. There, can you see that now? All right. There he is. Okay? And I'm going to grab that white paint again. And you want to make sure the paint is just on the tip of your brush, just the tip. I'm going to go into this fluff, and not everywhere. Don't do it everywhere. Don't cover that dark. Dark is very important. Without the dark, you're not going to get the light. And you want to turn around and just do these wisps. If you notice, I am just flicking. So the same way we did like the splash, you're going to do the same thing for your fluff, for your waterfall. Waterfall fluff. Alright, so now don't cover all your dark. You want your dark in there. You want your dark in there, and you want to go like across the top of your fluff, because that's where the light's going to hit it. Okay, and then you can just do these little mashes in here to soften it all out. Soften it all out. Right? And I'm just doing these little arching lines. So I'm putting the brightest part of my paint on the top. And then I'm just smushing to soften it all out on the rest of it. Right? And let's, let's finish off the edge here. Right? Let's put some splashing marks like coming out like that, right? So just cut some splashing. Water's really fun. It is really, really fun. You can do all these amazing things with it. You can create all this movement with it that I like. And you just put this in here. So, and then you build on that, okay? So, now you could put some really bright highlighted pieces. Like the sun's really hitting those pieces. So I'm going to drop in like a straight white here and a straight white there. Right? Again, I'm going straight up and down. Straight up and down. Right? So, but you can pop in these like really bold white pieces, because that's where the sun is really hitting this water. Right? So you want to put some of those in there. Right, maybe towards the top of the waterfall, because that's, that's where the light's hitting it. And then it just gives it a whole new dimension. And then the same thing with your fluff on the bottom, right? So we had the blue, then we had like the white going on there, creating a light blue. And now I'm going to take straight up white, and I'm going to add some pieces of the bold white. Just because that's where the light is hitting this fluff. Okay, so you want to add those. And what does splashing water get? Does anybody remember what I said 2 seconds ago? What do we put on splashing water? Anybody? Anybody? Anybody know? Help me out here, guys. I'm feeling kind of lonely. I'm feeling kind of lonely. Everybody's watching so intently. What does splashing water get? It gets dots. Hello. So I got this nifty little brush. Dots. Thanks, Amanda. You're all still out there. Thanks, guys. So I have this nifty little brush. Check this sucker out. Alright, so check this out. So you can see the waterfall from the distance now. Looking pretty cool, right? So check this out. Check this guy out. Look at that. Look at that brush. It's crazy, right? Now, I can't tell you anything. It's called, they call it a tight spot. I call it a dotter. I call it for dots, right? Because it has an angle on it, so you can easily bang in a whole bunch of dots if you want to. So, if you look at brushes, I think this one's pretty nifty, and it puts in dots for myself. That's right. You guys got it. All right, Sue. All right, Melissa. You guys are on point. I like it. I like it a lot. I like it a lot. Alright, so we want dots. And I'm going to use this nifty little brush. So you just put the paint right on the tip of it. Your girl was feeling a little lonely. Alright, we're going to go back over to our splash and water. And we're going to put our dots. But see, look. See how cool this guy puts dots in? See that? Isn't that awesome? Alright, and you can put a little few marks like it's splashing. So, we want dots, guys. Make sure you put in your dots. Alright, so, get some dots on it here, right? And you just put them any which way, any way you want them. Any which way, anywhere. Just a little here and there. You don't have to go too crazy. And I love my little dotting brush because he just puts these dots in and I don't even have to make an effort. All I'm doing is kind of pressing with them. So he's kind of cool. I'm digging him. I'm digging him. So you just put these dots in. And just like that, you guys have a waterfall. Alright? You want one, right? It's cute, isn't it? Isn't like that's awesome? I know. I found this just walking around Michael's one day and I was like, what is that? So, yeah. Puts in all our dots for us. Very easy because you just have to like do. So there's your waterfall, guys. Alright, so I did rain. We did a waterfall. It's kind of like the process of water, right, that we learned in science. It comes from rain, then it goes into lakes, and then it goes into rivers. Okay, so a river is the same thing as a lake, except it's narrow. That's it. And you might have like more rocks going on and different movement going on for the river. And that's the only difference between a river and a lake, is a river is tighter. You know what I'm saying? Like, so say I throw a coastline in over here. Right? Say I throw a coastline in over here. Like that rock was really part of another coastline. Okay? So a river is the same exact thing. It's the same exact thing except it's tighter. And you probably have more little splash effects going on because it's probably hitting some more rocks and all that good stuff. Alright, so if you want to make a river, it's just tinier. It's just more narrow. You're doing the same thing as the lake. You're doing the same thing as the lake. So that's the key there. So all you have to do is put your water lines in again. Alright, so now you have water lines coming from this side. Right? And there you have a river. And then you could also put little like splashes and whatnots going on. Right? Because maybe, you know, a river has rocks in it or whatever. And then put your dots in. So a river is the same as a lake. It's just more narrow. It's the same. You do the same exact stuff to the water though. You rock 'em, Melissa. Alright, so back to our blue with the lily pads. Alright, so lily pad, right? Let me get, I have such a, you guys want to see my mess? Look at my mess. I have such a mess going on over here. Look at this. I got a paint container. I have an easel going. I have brushes in the water. Like, I'm really, really like doing like all sorts of craziness going on. Yes. So an ocean is pretty much, you're going to create the same. If I am going to show you waves, guys, and I am going to show you the ocean. I want to show you the beach. So I just wanted to get done with the freshwater stuff. So I just want to show you the lines when you do a lily pad. And then we're going to the ocean, people. We're going to go to the ocean. All right. So what was I doing? I was doing green for a lily pad. All right. So green, right? Some yellow, some blue. I'm going to show you an ocean in this, guys. A little bit of white. Alright, so we have our blue water now. I'm going to throw in a lily pad here. I'm going to throw in a very large lily pad so you guys can see what I'm doing. Alright. So there's our lily pad. Right, kind of looks like a foot. Just like that. And again, you want to throw in a little bit of reflection, which this reflection, I am just putting the excess paint on my brush. I am just smushing, zigzagging back and forth. And I'm pulling some paint out of the object, actually. So that's another way you can do reflections. And a lily pad's reflection isn't going to be that big because it's flat on the water. So it's literally only going to be like an inch off. Alright, yeah, I'm going to show you guys water. So around the lily pad, you want to do the edges. Alright, we're going to do the edges. Everything straight across. Everything straight across. Right, just like that. And then with a lily pad, you can do those archer rounds. All right, so you can do those archer rounds. I'm going to just tilt my camera more. There we go. There we go. Now you guys can see the lily pad. All right, so with the lily pad, you can do those water lines that arch around like this. Okay, so you can do that with a stone. You can do that with anything. So you do get to do a little arch around, not straight up and down, but you want to start. Okay, so, and all that is pulling out, doing a little flip of your brush, coming back in. All right, so those are like the little arch around pieces in a water. So you guys can try those. You guys can try those, like if it's around a stone or something sticking out of the water. That's all those are. They're just little arched around pieces. It's like it's making a ripple. That's it. Okay. All right. So, anybody have any questions for me or anything you want to see as far as fresh water is concerned? Because I'm going to get myself some fluids because I have a very dry mouth. And we're going to do ocean. We're going to do our ocean. So, anybody has any questions with fresh water, tell me as I'm grabbing my drink. All right, let me know. Let me know you guys have any questions when it comes to any of this stuff. All right, if you're all good, give me some thumbs ups, all that good stuff. I know a lot of people are probably going to watch this replay, which is cool because everybody asked me about the replays. If you're watching the replay out there, people, welcome, welcome, welcome. All right, so hello, everybody. Okay, ocean. Guys, ready? I saw a thumbs up there. Awesome. Waves. Yes, let's learn about waves. Yes. All right, guys. I hope you're ready. I hope you're ready for this. All right, so let's learn about waves. I'm grabbing some fresh, clean white. This is kind of like the life cycle of water, right? Like we start with rain, then it goes to a waterfall, then it hits a lake, then it hits the river, and then it hits the ocean. I feel like I'm in science class. All right, waves. All right, so what do we need? We need some blue. We need some blue on here. So this looks so pretty. I hate to ruin it all, but oh well. All right. So let's get some blue on here. All right, there's some blue. This is just straight blue, nice and dark. Nice and dark. Okay? So we're going to do some straight blue on here, have it be nice and dark. Nice dark water, right? So your horizon line, you want to make sure that it is going fairly straight across. So how do you do that? You hold your brush here, back here, you put it straight up to your canvas, and you pull. And you just pull across. The faster you go, the straighter your horizon's going to be. Just pull. See that? And the faster you go, the straighter your horizon's going to be. Now, with waves, you just got to think of frowns and smiley faces. Frowns and smiley faces. All right? So, where your water meets your land, you basically do a combination of the colors. And it looks really weird, but where your water meets your land, all right, I'm going to throw a quick beach in here real quick. So yellow, some red, some white, a little bit of black. All right, get myself a nice beigey color. All right, so here's my beach, right? Let's put a beach in. And I put the beach in, I already had the blue on my brush. This is my 1-inch flat, sweetie. Sorry about that, 1-inch flat. I already had the blue on my brush. So when I throw my beach in, it's going to get blue in it. And you also can go into your blue and then come back down into your beach. Into your blue, down to your beach, okay? So you want this like little blue hue going on, a little beachy hue going on right there. All right, so I made my beach color, and since my paint is still wet from doing the ocean, I'm going to go into that ocean color and I'm going to pull down into my beach. Right? So you want that combination in there. You want that like blue hitting the sand. Right? So my beach color was very simply red, yellow, some white. Now I'm making a ton of it, and I don't need a ton of it. And a little bit of black. Right? Make a nice beige color for yourself. So red, yellow, a little bit of black, some white. Makes all sorts of browns for you. And when you put this in, you want to put this in while your ocean water is still wet. And you kind of go into your ocean water and pull down to your beach. Into your ocean water and pull down into your beach. This way, you have some of that blue in your sand. Okay, you want that. You want some of that blue in your sand, right? So into your ocean a little bit, into your ocean a little bit, down onto the beach. Into your ocean a little bit, down onto the beach. All right, so you get that blue in your sand. Okay, I'm just using a 1-inch flat. All right, so now you want it, so you have to do that obviously with acrylic while it's still wet, because once that dries, forget about it. Forget about it. I was making fun of myself before when I was saying water. I'm not from North Jersey, but my whole family is, so it does come out every once in a while. It sneaks out every once in a while. Alright, so let me grab another 1-inch flat here that's clean. If I can find one that's clean. Alright, so waves. You want to think of smileys and frownies. Alright, so let's do the frowny. And I'm going to grab, so I'll show you on this palette. Alright, so I have white paint. I have white. And I have blue. Okay. And that's all I'm going to be working with. Maybe a little bit of black to make a nice dark blue. Alright. So, frowns and smiley faces. I'm still with my 1-inch flat. So, when you make a wave, that's a frown. So, grab some white paint. Give yourself a little light blue color going on. And you're going to make a frown. Alright, so we have a frown. Just like that. Now, once you paint that frown, now you're going to do the smileys off of it. Smiley, smiley, smiley. You're going to do the smileys off of it. And notice I'm leaving dark in there. I'm leaving dark in there. Alright, so you want to do the smileys off of your frown. Right, like all these little mini things going on here. Alright. So, notice I'm leaving dark paint. Alright, you need your darks for your lights. Okay, see that? Alright. Now, with your smiley, you're going to turn around and you can soften this up. Soften the bottom of them up. Right? And then you can grab your lighter paint again, using blue and white, not just white. The bright white is last. Bright white is last. So blue and white, I'm going to go off of my smiley. I'm going to follow it up like this, and I'm going to just drop down, smashing my brush. I'm going to follow up like this and drop down. I'm going to follow up like this and drop down. See that? So that is one of those tunnel waves like this. Inside, you want to make sure that's super dark right in here. Okay, so if it's not super dark, grab your blue, grab your black, and paint it super dark. All right, so you want to make sure that inside of the tube is super dark, because that's going to create a massive shadow. Right now, let that dry a little bit. Thanks, Melissa. Let that dry a little bit, okay? So as that's drying, I'm going to pull this excess paint off of my brush here. So let that dry a little bit. All right, I'm going to pull the excess paint off of my brush. So just remember, waves, smileys, and frowns. Smileys and frowns. Okay, so I'm going to pull the excess paint off of my brush. I'm back to my palette. Very simple palette I'm using for you guys. Very simple. I'm keeping everything simple in these how-tos. If you guys want to get more in depth, ask me a question, all right? But I'm going to keep it very simple for all of you guys, right? Because I think things should stay simple when you're learning. The more simple, the better. All right, so remember those frowns I did over here? So very simply, I'm going to grab my white paint. I'm going to grab my white, and I'm going to grab my blue. I'm letting this dry a little bit, okay? And then on my frowns, let me fix this. I can turn around. I'm still using the 1-inch flat. I still have paint just on the tip of my brush. And on my frowns, now I can start adding little highlights to them. All right, little highlights. On my smileys. These are smileys, okay? So you can create little frowns in your smileys. See, you can go like this and do a little frown. Come off. And then do the smileys. All right? So I am just creating different colors in here. Right? You can pull your brush flat and do a swoop if you want to. You can do a little swoop in action. All right, see? So you can do like a peak, right? Let me show you a peak in the wave. All right, so I'm going to grab my white. I'm going to grab my blue. I'm going to come over here, and I'm going to go like this. I'm going to go up, and I'm going to go down. So you can create like a peak in your waves too. That's kind of cool. All right, and as you get further away from the front, as you get further, now let your little peak dry, okay? All right, as you get further away, these peaks and these ovals need to get smaller and smaller. All right, so as you're working back in here, you need to make these effects smaller and smaller. And the further you go back, you notice I'm just wiggling now. The further you go back, the smaller all this is. All right, and I am using my 1-inch flat. I am just using some white and blue together. I'm leaving that dark back there, and I'm just wiggling my paint in. That's all I'm doing. I'm doing little wiggles. See me? Wiggle, 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 wiggle. That's all I'm doing. Because as you get further away, you're not going to see any of this stuff. You're not going to see any waves that you can do. And then you just go lighter and lighter with your color. So I started with some blue and white. Now I'm going to grab more white. And I'm going to put some little things in like that. All I did was a squiggle. So I grabbed more white paint. And I'm doing a squiggle. Wait, that's all I'm doing. That is all I'm doing. Alright? So, I'm just doing squiggles. Alright. So, now this is dry enough for me. Alright, so we have our little, I'll do the peak first, okay? How about that? Okay, guys? I'll do the peak. Alright, 1-inch flat, dirty with all the blue on it. Didn't do anything but kind of wipe it off. I'm going to grab that white paint with a little bit of blue in it. Alright? Peak. Very simply, you just go to the top of the peak, you lay your brush like this, and you pull. Very lightly. And it creates that water crescent for you. Very lightly. It's all you do for a peak. Okay? And then you could do the same thing on the other side. White and blue on my brush. Going to the top of this peak. I'm going to pull down the other way. A very light brush. And you want to make sure you're not losing your dark. Okay, so there is a peak. Now I'm going to grab dark paint and I'm going to come in here and add my dark back in because I kind of lost it. Alright, so you want to grab your dark and add it back in. If you went a little too nutty with your peak, Okay, so there's the peak. There's your peak, right? And then you could go like this into your beach with your dirty brush. Get some more of those blues in there. This is just my dirty brush. I'm just going into my beach with my dirty brush. That's all I'm doing. All right, so now my little tunnel wave is nice and dry. All right, so I'm going to swirl tap dab my brush, get all the globs out of them. I'm still using a 1-inch flat. I'm going to dab them on the paper towel. Some blue can come out. That's okay. We don't mind. But fairly get them clean. Okay, so what's going on here? All right, so this is rolling over and then crashing, right? So we need the crashing part. Well, the crashing part is pretty much the same as the waterfall, like you mentioned before, sweetie. Remember? Who said that? Who was? Yes, so Amanda, like you said before, okay? So I'm just going to take my 1-inch flat here, and I'm just going to do circles. Just doing circles. Okay? I'm just doing circles. That's all I'm doing. And notice it's mixing with the other paint, and I'm coming over on this side a little bit. I'm going up here. I'm going to grab my white and my blue again. Right? And you can do little flicks. Little flicks is cool. Like where it's crashing, little flicks is cool. That's kind of cool. Right? Again, zigzagging into my beach. I'm zigzagging. Right? Getting more of those lighter tones onto my beach color. Okay, now you got to let that dry. See, so the bright, bright white is like the last thing you do. It really is the last thing you do. And that was you, Amanda. Good job. All right, so the bright, bright white is really the last thing you do. Okay, so I'm going to grab my fluffy brush, which is a beat-up old bristly brush. I sell them in my kit. All right, so I'm going to grab him. I'm going to mash him with my paper towel, make sure he's nice and fluffy. See that? And very simply, I'm going to put some more detail into this. So I'm going to make a lighter blue. Lighter blue. Just on the tip of my brush. And I'm going to very simply, off the top of this, just put some more highlight. Alright, I'm just going to put some more highlight going into there. Alright, you can arch it around. Now, if you lose your dark, very simply, just put your dark back in. Just put the dark back in, it's fine. So I'm just putting some dark back in because I lost it. I had a little too much paint on my brush, but that's okay. No worries. So, very lightly, I'm just putting in some more of these details in. And I'm going brighter and brighter. Brighter and brighter. And I'm doing very light flicks. Very light flicks like this. Flicking my brush. Very light. Okay? So, and then you can go back into your crashing part. And now I'm just doing circles with Fluffy. Alright, I'm just doing these circles like you said, the bottom of a waterfall. And you gradually just build up to where you're going to use, so you do like your dark, dark blue, then you do your regular blue, and then you want to add some dark back in here, you can. Then you do your white with blue. Alright, you do your white with blue. And then, that's when you get to going, now you're at to the point of where you can do your straight white. Okay, so there's lots of stuff building up to that, right? I didn't just go into straight white, did I? Right, we all want that little fancy piece first. Well, you can't have the fancy piece until you do the work. That's all there is to it. Okay, you can't have that fancy piece until you do all the work. Right, so I'm just going to add some fun stuff over on this side of it. Right, soften all that out. Alright, so now you can go into your bright, bright, bright white. Alright, so now I'm going to grab just white. I'm going to come in, I'm going to hit this bad boy here and there, not everywhere. I'm going to hit this bad boy right here. Just white. Alright. I'm going to hit my beach. And this is just the fluffy brush doing the zigzag. That's all I'm doing. That's all I'm doing. Okay, I'm going to hit my beach. All right, and I'm just zigzagging with my fluffy brush to kind of move this along a little bit. At my beach here, there we go. So I'm just using my fluffy brush and I'm just zigzagging along, right, straight across. Remember, straight across, everything's across. Everything's across. I hit my peak over here with a little something, something. All right, and then it's dot time. So then we just got to add our dots. And just like that, you've got waves, you got different things. So just remember, frowns and smiley faces. Frowns and smiley faces for saltwater get smaller as you go further back. As you're doing your waves, you want to use all the different colors. You don't go just white and blue. There's a lot of variation of colors. You need your dark blues. You need your light blues. You need your white. White is the last thing you put on. So you have to wait for it. I know it's the most exciting and it pops and it looks really fun. But if you don't have all those other values in there, you are not going to get water. Trust me on that one. You are not going to get water. You are going to get some sort of mess. That's what you're going to get. So, anyway, add in some dots. Okay, and then you come down here to your beach. And you're going to add that white in there, going straight across. I'm kind of cheating. I'm using the dotter brush. And what you want to do on your beach... is where this is hitting, you need a shadow line. Right? So the last finishing touch for when the water hits the beach is you need a shadow line. So I'm going to take that brown from before and I'm going to add a little bit of black to it. And I'm going to come in here. And again, I'm zigzagging back and forth. I'm going into the water a little bit, coming back out. Right? And you need a shadow line because the water is sitting on top of the sand. So it's going to cast a shadow. Right? And then you could put it like really big, like it created that wet spot, you know. So you can put these like really big in your sand if you want to, like the water came in and wet the sand and then went back out again. So you definitely need to put your shadow line into your beach. All right, so you definitely want that going on there. And then once you put your shadow line in, just like that, you are good to go. And you could play with that, like I said. You can make little muddy spots if you want to. That's always fun. All different things like that. So, all my friends out there, all my fan members, I think I covered everything we need to cover with water. I did rain, waterfalls, lakes, rivers, rocks, lily pads, ocean, waves. So give you some basics to do. And I hope you had a really fun time learning with me today in this practice session. I hope I showed you enough things or techniques. If I missed something, just ask me. You can message me. So this is Eve's from Eve's Creations Paint Party. It is free to watch. Tips and gratuities are always appreciated. I just want to say thank you to everyone who has sent me a gratuity for support. I do really appreciate it. It keeps me able to provide these for free because unfortunately paint supplies are not free. So if anybody would like to show me some support, that would be great. I have PayPal, I have Venmo, I have Cash App, and I just want to thank everybody. I think you're all amazing. I thank you for practicing with me tonight, and I hope you all had a good time learning all the different things that have to do with water. Next week is rocks and mountains and earth. So we're going to do rocks, mountains, and earth next week. And Friday is our sloth. So this is Friday's party. Hannah requested a sloth, so she's finally getting her cute little sloth. We're going to paint this on Friday at 7 p.m., same place. The next How To Tuesday is going to be mountains and rocks and cliffs and earth and all of that good stuff. So we're going to do that. My friend got me this little sign for my tips and gratuities. Isn't it the cutest? It's the cutest little sign ever. So he hooked me up with that. And that's it, guys. If anybody has any questions, you can ask me. And everybody watching the replay, welcome to the family. Thank you so much for joining me tonight. Amanda and Melissa and Rachel and Nancy and Maura from Tennessee and Tori from Toronto. Thank you so much for joining me tonight in our practice session. I really appreciate it. And I hope you all have fun. So remember the golden rule. Have fun and go create. Okay? So you all warm my heart. Thank you for joining me. It was a pleasure to be able to show you what I know. All right? Everybody have a lovely evening. Thank you so much. I really appreciate it. I like my little sign. I do. I'm not gonna lie. I think it's cute. I do. Okay, so I hope you guys had fun, Amanda and Melissa and everybody practicing with me. I hope you enjoyed that. I hope you had a good time. I have a super mess going on over here. You guys want to see it. Ready? Look at my mess. You ready? Whoop. Look at my mess. I got a Tupperware. I got a palette. I got another type of palette. I got all these brushes that are dirty. I got other ones on the side. So I hope my counter looks like your counter. Because if your counter looks like my counter, that means you're having a good time. That means you're having a good time. All right. Thank you, everybody. You all have a good night. Have fun. Go create. You all warm my heart. Welcome to the family. All right. Good night.